position, everybody.
You guys just stand right on the side of the podium right here.
Let's move this a little bit here. Okay, well, good morning, everyone. It's wonderful to be with you this Friday morning. I'm pleased to be joined by Shanesha Sauls, who's the president and CEO of the Baltimore Community Foundation. County Councilman Pat Young is with us this morning. We have representatives from some incredible organizations that we're proud to have with us today. You'll hear from them all in a moment. I see Jessica Clayton here representing Senator Van Hollen, Tim Zink representing Senator Cardin, and Danielle Acquar representing Congressman Rupersberger. Thank you all so much for being here this morning. As we look around the room this morning, I can't help but be struck by how blessed we are to share this moment with each other. We have been through some of the toughest times together as a community, facing challenges that are among the toughest we could face together. No one could have predicted what the last 2 years would have meant. These challenges have tested us, but together we have persevered through them. We have persevered because of neighbors who looked out for us and made us feel at home. We've persevered thanks to our teachers, our frontline workers, and the small businesses who remained resilient, caring for us in the darkest of hours. We've persevered because we came together in times of need to do what we have to do what we could, when we could, for each other. These challenges have been daunting, but they have also brought out the very best in each and every one of us. And the nonprofit community has been a North Star through these challenging times, going above and beyond to serve both our residents and our communities. We're blessed to share this room with organizations like Aisley Women Enterprise in House of Ruth, Maryland, who are providing comprehensive, inclusive, and multilingual services to make our diverse communities healthier and to feel welcomed. Organizations like the Foundation for Baltimore County Public Library, who have made digital tools and access available for free to give our underprivileged the advantage needed to help them succeed. We're thrilled to recognize dozens of organizations just like these across Baltimore County who have stepped up, met the challenges head on, and made us proud to be part of this community here in Baltimore County. That's why this morning I am so excited to announce that Baltimore County has awarded $2.6 million in grants to over 30 nonprofit organizations across Baltimore County. And I want to thank Ashley Mayer from our grants team for her help in leading that work. With funding through the county's allocation of the American Rescue Plan, these grants will support a wide range of vital services and organizations for our residents. And again, I want to thank our congressional delegation for their support in passing those recovery funds that are allowing this to happen today. Whether they are increasing food access for our immigrant partners like AfriThrive, leading community building dialogue for our middle schools like the Conflict Resolution Centers of Baltimore County, or providing medical and wellness checks to our vulnerable residents with enterprise community partners, these grants will go a long way in all of these respective places to help us endure and overcome the challenges that await us yet in the future. As I said before, you'll have an opportunity in a moment to hear firsthand from some of these incredible organizations. I want to thank the Baltimore Community Foundation, who has been just a critical and tireless partner these past few years. The leadership of BCF has made it possible to fulfill the promise of good governance and do more to help those who are already doing so much for our residents. We could not have met this moment without you. So thank you for all that you do, BCF. And with that, I will turn things over to their fearless leader, Shanesha Sauls.
I'll adjust the mic. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, County Executive Olszewski. It is truly a pleasure and honor and easy to partner with you and your administration. And it is our delight to be here today. I am honored to join you, your local, state, and federal colleagues, and many members of the community to acknowledge this important grant allocation and the wonderful and deserving grantees. This actually marks the third time that the Baltimore Community Foundation has partnered with Baltimore County Executive Olszewski and his team on COVID relief and recovery grant making. And really the process has been delightful, and seamless. So thank you again for your trust and your partnership. This is a shining example of what efficiency and effectiveness can look like and what's possible in strong public-private partnerships. And so thank you all for setting that example. The county executives team has a deep knowledge of the needs of its local communities throughout a very diverse and vast Baltimore County, and I know that his commitment is dogged. The commitment of this administration to increasing the quality of life in the county and throughout the county in partnership with the nonprofit sector is quite admirable and is on full display this morning. BCF holds nearly 1,000 funds on behalf of individuals, organizations, and partners like Baltimore County to do good work to support education, aging populations, basic human services, the environment, the arts and culture, and so much more. And so we are again proud to be here today and to support your work to address pressing community needs and effective organizations. So I will not say much more other than to say thank you. While it was an unfortunate circumstance that brought this three-time partnership together, I will say that your community here in the county and your partners across the state and in the federal government can know that you are excellent stewards of this work. And congratulations to all of the wonderful grantees. We are humbled by your service and by your impact. And so with no further ado, as we work together to build a stronger, more resilient Baltimore County today and for future generations, I am pleased to introduce Dr. Trifina Choti of AfriThrive. Thank you.
Thank you, Shanesha, for the kind introduction. County Executive Olszewski, elected leaders, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. On behalf of AfriThrive, we are thrilled to have a leadership in Baltimore County that embraces our mission to build stronger African immigrant communities through the power of food. Thanks again, County Executive, for your continued support. As someone who grew up in a food scarcity home, I have memories of the many nights that my siblings and I went to bed with empty stomachs. Fighting hunger is personal to me because it's my story. And I want to tell you, if we can feed children, our work is done. Because no child should go to bed hungry. Well-nourished children are happier, more attentive in class, and have better education outcomes. As we see today, food prices keep soaring. More and more families are struggling to put food on the table every day. Lines at our food distribution site are also getting longer each week. I want to say that this investment is a game changer for AfriThrive and for thousands of people we serve. It marks the beginning of our journey, moving from an open parking lot space, which has been our food distribution home for the last 2.5 years, to getting a facility with cold storage infrastructure where we can source, package, and distribute food that families need. Our project allows residents to walk in and make a choice on the kinds of food they need with dignity. It will be a place where they can also access to train for living wage jobs. It will create economic opportunity for Baltimore County, especially for our local Black and brown farmers who grow cultural foods that we serve. We need to create a big table and invite those who are most impacted by hunger so that together we can find solutions and ensure that they have sustainable access to healthy food and sustainable income to raise strong families in neighborhoods they call home. For us, this investment opens amazing opportunities for us to expand efforts to end hunger in the county, and more importantly, it will be life-changing for thousands of people for whom we provide critical services every year. With this funding, we'll be able to hire a food educator who will expand our nutrition education programs to increase long-term self-reliance of the African immigrant community in Baltimore. And now I have the pleasure of introducing Ms. Marie Schell, Executive Director of the Conflict Resolution Center of Baltimore County. Thank you.
Thank you. At the Conflict Resolution Center of Baltimore County, or CRCBC for short, we harness the emotional power behind conflict to forge mutual understanding as the foundation for strong, stable, and peaceful communities. Our staff and volunteers help resolve both interpersonal and community conflict through community mediation, community conferencing, and other restorative justice services. We also offer community education so residents are empowered to better manage conflict in their own lives. CRCBC services are accessible to all persons and organizations in Baltimore County. As a nonprofit, we offer these services at no cost to community members and work to provide them at convenient times and locations to the parties involved. All services are provided by trained individuals who honor the diversity of our community. For more than 13 years, CRCBC has conducted thousands of community conferences, mediations, and conflict resolution services, served over 14,000 residents, and successfully diverted over 1,500 youth from the juvenile justice system using a restorative justice process that heals while also supports accountability for wrongdoing. We are proud of our strong partnerships with county agencies. The American Rescue Plan Act funding deepens the support we can offer the Baltimore County Public School System. Our restorative justice program, called Community Conferencing, serves high-risk youth who have found themselves in a conflict. We work with BCPS countywide to convene community conferences that resolve youth conflict and crimes, a process where the victim, offender, and their parents or guardians are guided through a conversation with a neutral facilitator to help them understand what happened, how everyone was affected by it, and what they can agree to going forward so the conflict doesn't arise again. Through this process, 93% of our cases end with an agreement that supports the reintegration of disenfranchised youth back into society. All our services are evidence-based practices backed by both success in the community and research that proves their efficacy as successful conflict interventions. Additionally, this funding will enable us to further our engagement by launching a community dialogue program at 2 middle schools, which will help youth develop conflict resolution skills. In addition to de-escalating arguments, these skills help youth develop a coherent sense of self and plan for a productive future. I'd like to share a testimony from a mother who received our conferencing service. This program was such a big help to me and my son. It stopped my son from being kicked out of school. It stopped him from having a record at such a young age. Most importantly, it gave him a chance to tell his truth. The staff were great at diffusing a very heated situation. Being a part of a conference was the best thing that could have happened. I would highly recommend the program. Thank you again to County Executive Olszewski and your office for investing in these critical services as CRCBC uses the power of conflict to build strong, stable, and peaceful communities. And now I'd like to introduce Brian McLaughlin, President of the Community Development Division of Enterprise Community Partners, Inc.
Good morning, and on behalf of Enterprise Community Development, I would like to just say we're so honored to be able to be here today to share in this celebration. As goes the nonprofit sector, so goes our communities. Without a smart, caring, and dedicated public sector, with a private sector that shares in those values, the nonprofit sector is one of the key pillars that holds up our communities. And I really applaud the terrific genius thought that went into how these funds were going to be allocated, the partnership between the county and Baltimore Community Foundation to say we can inject power and resources into our nonprofit sector to help turn the tide on this challenging world we find ourselves in. At Enterprise Community Development, we're an affordable housing builder, but beyond that, we have a lot of folks who need more than housing. In fact, we serve 1,800 wonderful residents of Baltimore County, and many of them are seniors. They move into our housing at the age of 55, 60, 65, and believe it or not, their incomes don't dramatically change as they age. In fact, if anything, it's kind of going down in real terms. And so we find that folks who need affordable housing when they retire tend to need it for decades thereafter. But the needs that exist in affordable housing as you age, well, those needs go up too. And without these resources, we wouldn't be able to do some of the critical work we do to help folks be able to stay in affordable housing. Some of the work that includes being able to do health screening on site. Through partnerships with the University of Maryland, we will do health assessments and screening benefits on site with residents to say, are you taking the right medicines? Do you have the right doctors? Do you have the right benefits? Very practical, simple things that are going to change, we think, the sense of well-being and happiness that so many of our residents deserve. I would, again, just simply like to say we're honored to have a chance to be a part of this discussion. We're honored to have the chance to continue to advance this county along with the smart leadership that runs this county, and I thank you so much for the chance to be here.
Happy to open it up. Any questions for the county or any of our awardees? And then afterwards, I'd invite anyone involved in the grant process or all the grantees, representatives. We can all do a picture before we depart. So, questions? Perfect. I love it when that happens. So, yeah, if you had a role or if you're an awardee, why don't we come up and we'll do a picture together.